All right, so we have these things on the table real quick. One side says builder, the other side says breaker. You're going to need these, so if you don't have one, make sure that you grab one. We have a bunch up here, and there's a bunch on the tables out there. All right, cool. So builder versus breaker. So my name is Brett Harden. I'm going to be a moderator. This is my Twitter handle. So the reason I gave you guys that, other than self-publication, is to make sure that you guys have it. I represent you. So we expected a lot more people, but you guys can probably just yell at us. But if you want, you can tweet something you don't feel comfortable talking about it, and I have a thing that I monitor constantly to make sure I get you guys some questions. And we have plenty of beer, especially for this audience. So. All right, cool.
Maybe not everybody should have one.
Yeah, maybe not everyone. Maybe they can't have 3. Oh man, and we also have we have rum for the serious drinkers. So let's introduce our who here's been to a builder versus breaker talk before? All right, 2 people. Cool. So if you're not familiar with this format, this is something that these guys developed. It's basically one person represents the builder, the developer of the software, and the second person represents the security breaker person of the software. And we throw up subjects and we just have them fight it out. And what happens is typically in an audience like this, the builder typically loses because of the audience and who's obviously in the audience. But we'll see if we can't change that. So you're not true. Do you have a microphone? Okay, if you want to talk, you should speak into that. So John Rose, this guy's going to represent our builder. There you go.
Yes, thank you.
All right, now we're getting the spirit. All right, I need a beer.
Breakers don't exist without builders. It's a fact.
All right, so
why is that?
We'll get to that.
So qualification. Okay, so it's already started. It's already started. So qualifications. John built PayPal in 2 hours, and he's pushed to 2,470 open source pushes to all kinds of different contributions. On the other side of the house, we have Matt Conda. Matt Conda is representing the breaker. He broke with the CIA whenever he was 12, and then he deleted his arrest record when he was 16. So that's who you have here representing you guys out there. Quick poll: who in the room is builders? Raise your hands. Awesome. This is actually awesome. Did you see how many builders there are?
Yeah, I talked to all of them.
Awesome. And breakers, raise your hand. Yeah. So basically, you just insulted the majority of the room. Just saying that. So, all right, cool. So, how does this format work? Well, it's basically one question. We debate that topic, and then we have one audience member respond. And so it's basically if they say something that you guys don't like, you guys just say, no, that's whatever. I'm going to respond to this, and you just take it and you run with it. And it's my job also to shut you up very fast. So you get to your point really quick, okay? All right, and then we vote, we drink. If you guys want a beer or rum now, come on up. You guys can grab a beer and everything's cool. All right, so John, why don't you talk about what the builder's concerns actually are?
All right, so as a builder, I get paid, my boss judges my performance based on meeting deadlines.
Good man. There we go. Yeah! See, somebody's come now, so more people can come.
All right, so yeah, basically my goal is meeting deadlines, meeting gates, building functionality for customers, making sure they ship on time and that they work properly. So if I'm late on shipping code, it's an issue. If I have problems and need to rework things, it's an issue. I'm motivated by dates and functionality.
All right, cool. So the reason we're doing the concern aspect is that if you're a builder in the room, you can relate to this. This is what your deadlines and your goals are. This is what your boss is driving behind you. Breakers sometimes forget what actually drives you, and so this is why we're putting this up here. On the flip side, we're now going to have the breaker talk about what he cares about, and that's for the builders in the room to understand exactly what their concerns are.
Well, I'm going to find vulnerabilities, I'm going to exploit them, I'm going to get data out, and I'm going to have a good time. It's pretty simple, actually. You need a mic, I can just talk, right?
Can anybody not hear
Can you
him?
hear me in the back? Yeah.
All right, cool. Awesome.
Really loud.
All right, and so as we all know, the main reason why breakers do stuff is for the lulz, and we also love capitalization. All right, so let's get in the mood. So the first thing that we did is we took a lot of different tweets that builders and breakers tweeted, and so just to kind of show you and get excited up on stage, and we'll start representing the different personas, they're going to read what the tweet is in the context of who they are. So this guy, remember, is the builder, and this guy is the breaker, okay? Here we go.
Developers will never ever learn, they'll never improve. They just keep making the same mistakes over and over again. That's all of you.
Okay, so breakers are just good at ranting, right? They have zero contributions.
They don't do anything constructive, basically, and then they just bash their friends think they're cool.
Sure. If you're a developer and you don't know what OWASP is, you're just not paying attention. You're choosing not to know what your head's saying.
Okay, here's the problem, right? InfoSec pros, pen testers, whatever, they're more interested in, quote, AppSec than actually programmers, right? How do you change that? Never gonna change.
The developer who wrote this code should be taken out in the street and beaten.
Somebody may know who this is, but we covered this guy's innocent.
Agile, most security guys are useless. They just can't get it, whatever.
All right, so now that we've gotten in the mood, you guys understand what personas and how they're going to interact with one another. Let's get this party started.
Feel free to be questions.
Okay, so ready? Fine. The cloud makes me secure. Builder, please represent.
So the cloud definitely makes you more secure. We have in-house IT people, but they're as good as they are. We outsource to a company. Their whole focus is availability, integrity, keeping things running. It's so much better for us to offload that, focus on building what we want to build, and the core value proposition of whatever software we're building. So the cloud definitely makes us more secure, and it's great.
You said availability and integrity. You didn't say anything about security. You don't know what the cloud providers are providing.
Is that kind of related?
There's no transparency into what the cloud providers are giving you in terms of security.
We have SLAs.
You can't change what they're giving
We
you.
have SLAs. We know what they're going to give us. It's 9, 5. It's great.
I already know you want this microphone, so.
The reality is, it's way better for us to outsource to the cloud because then we don't have to worry about it. They're going to take it. They're a trusted
Just
party.
pushing your problems to somebody else.
Sure, fine. That's why they're there. And we're not going to solve every possible problem, so we have trusted partners that are going to do it for us.
Trusted but not responsible.
We're responsible. We have SLAs.
SLA's about upfront. SLA's about security.
I have to check. I didn't sign it.
So, does anybody represent this? Like, has anybody actually talked to their company and had this argument? Dudes. Okay. So developers don't think the cloud is secure then? No, you don't want this. Here. All right, I'm gonna cut you off. So make your point brief.
Be very clear.
Not all clouds are considered equal. I do think when you look at general purpose clouds like IaaS, like Amazon, you're basically putting a lot of trust in your transparency, etc. When you have a SaaS though, when you get a high on the stack, that company potentially lives or dies by how secure you do it.
Yeah, exactly.
So they have the potential to actually be more secure because they have less general purpose networks, less general purpose computers, target things, harden things, monitor things. So cloud binary bit is kind of sloppy. It depends.
Everything's uniform too that they control, so it's much easier for them to manage it versus our in-house IT guys have all sorts of systems.
So are you paying for Firepost? That's what you're saying, that everything you do is in a secure cloud?
I don't know how am I going to say I'm thankful.
All right, so raise up the thing. Builder one, breaker one. Point it at me so I can see a general consensus. I feel like we're always going to school up.
We have to vote too. We have to vote.
All right, so wow, look at that. It's actually kind of even.
No, it's not. That's a breaker.
Okay, so real quick, leave them up real fast. If you are showing the side that you represent, flip it. Yeah, I saw a lot of flipping. All right, cool. All right. So, next one.
So wait, who won that?
It looked like a dead tie.
Well, okay, so what we've done in the past is when there's a tie, the audience drinks.
Oh, okay. Well, then, cheers. I represent you, so I have to drink also.
Yeah, you do.
You can talk.
No, yeah. We want the microphone passed. So, if you have something to say, go run and grab the microphone. But we're moving on to the next topic. Is it about cloud?
Well, yeah.
You can talk. Go.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So I was at a No Fluff Your Stuff conference sitting with some guys at the table.
Wait, you went to No Fluff and you're here.
Yeah, and then we're
Two guys.
so
What's Fluff?
McDonald's has Wi-Fi.
And delicious hamburger.
What do they know about Wi-Fi? They're a hamburger fast food joint.
It's not their core business.
So it's not their core business. So they outsource Wi-Fi to some guys that I was sitting at the table with, AT&T. That's what they do. So it makes total sense for them to outsource because it's not their core business, it's not their expertise, whereas AT&T, it is their core business, it is their expertise, and they're going to do a better job.
That was my argument for this one.
Are you the builder?
But who's selling a secure platform?
There's a breaker. Yeah. And it
And
begins.
the builder, what
What did you say? Repeat it.
but who's selling a secure platform? I would love to have.
Firepost.
A secure platform, but who's selling that?
Yeah, okay. So let's move on.
Tough one.
All right, so customers, you know what? If customers care about security, they would actually ask for it. So, Breaker, take it.
Security is part of quality. You can't deliver software without thinking about security. You can't deliver software without thinking about performance. You can't deliver software without thinking about design. Your customer is not well served if you deliver software without thinking about performance and design. And therefore, security should be part of what you're thinking about up front. It is part of the package. It's part of what the customer expects.
All right, so I'm a developer, and I build code based on requirements. So if those requirements need extra special security, that takes extra time and
How about
effort.
just normal security, like basic core security?
Right, so we build as the best we can, and we have a development process that includes some security checks and things like that. But if you want all this extra security stuff, you have to explicitly ask for it. And a lot of people don't ask for it. You just assume you're going to get it, and it's work and effort, right? Why would I assume I'm getting all this stuff for free?
They get people already grabbing microphones. Like, they're like, do that thing.
Well, they know I'm right.
Are you a builder or breaker?
Looking at both.
Which one do you represent most?
Yeah,
All of them are builders right now.
Good.
Okay.
So right now, talk back to builder though.
I like that.
Making us look bad. As builders, making fellow builders look like idiots. Because when somebody builds a building, they don't say, well, you didn't say it had to operate in 1G field. And when somebody builds a car, they don't say, well, it had to stop too. Come on. Build it.
That's
There are-
totally
there
not
are-
true, though.
There are
Think about
requirements in the
performance.
environment that are part of the environment. They're not operating. Nobody tells you that's on a computer because you know you're writing software. It's going to run on a computer. Okay? So making it that way somebody can take over the control flow of your application is a requirement. It's always there whether it's on paper or not. Otherwise, he wins.
So real quick, hold on, that's good. Hold on. I want to respond to that. All right. So as a product, I was product manager at one point, and as a product manager, I had developers multiple times tell me, quote, this was not in the requirements document.
Yeah.
Multiple times. So you can't just say, you can't just yell.
Because it's in the security standards. It's not in the requirements.
No. So you're saying that the developer then can argue and just say, oh, well, it's not in there, so I don't need to read it.
No, I'm saying the
They
developer
should.
can't argue that because it's in the standard, but it's not in the plug.
Well, the same thing is, he said from Howard, we don't expect the car to be able to brake, but the limitation space, that's what security is. That's what we not define. So I'm actually a breaker helping builders. That's the problem we have here. I'm going to take the here now, because as long as we say builder versus breakers, we don't really improve the build.
Yeah. We'll get to that towards the end.
Sorry.
All right, go ahead.
As a builder, I've told my client, this is a mistake. You shouldn't do this. Open this up to just anybody. There's a release access rule that you should only have access to stuff that you just need. That's all and no more. Open it up.
Yeah, but it authenticates to Twitter, so everything's okay.
Okay, so can I make a comment? This guy had a statement about there's security requirements, or not even requirements, security standards is what you said, right, or policies. So where does that end? And how much do I need to do?
Right.
Because no customer asked me, so sure, we're going to do the basic stuff, but it's like, okay, does this need to scale to 1 billion hosts, or just,
Well, John, what it needs to do is it needs to make sure that it's protected when you also file tenants.
Okay, well, cool, there's the one. What about PCI?
Yeah.
I guess that's it.
All right, so we're gonna raise your hands. Who thinks you win, builder, breaker? Which is the argument? All right, breaker definitely won that one. Sorry, you represent the builder very important.
Okay, so now when you buy some
No, I'm sorry, John. I'm sorry. You're gonna be quiet. You've already debated. This isn't the presidential debate. Yeah. So next one. Breaches are cheaper than securing code.
Oh my God, you really think that?
This is the builder's representation. Go.
This is true. And I'll give you a couple specific examples. So, obviously the most large, massive organizations need to do a lot of stuff to make sure they're secure because those breaches cost a ton of money. But for the average organization, we get hacked into, they break into our WordPress site, whatever. I can call this company, and there's a couple out there, I've been researching that. They will fix our website, revert from our backup code and everything else, and it's like $500 or $1,000. Boom, I'm back to the good code, everything's clean. You know how much it costs? I tried to get a pen test, it's like 10 grand, it's gonna take these guys weeks. It's easier just to revert back and deal with it. And plus, I'm barely even targeted. Nobody cares about our stuff, they're not gonna hack into it, we're not controversial.
Average cost of a breach is like $5 to $7 million. Isn't that what the research? I don't know if I believe that. People really
Just pay a couple $100, it's clean.
So one question real quick, the builders, can you guys raise your hands again? If you're a builder and you work, well, actually keep your hands up real quick because I want to see how many hands are up. Who works for an organization that has over 500 people?
Perfect.
Okay, interesting. So John, your point is probably applies to a lot of them.
Yeah, these guys,
So how much does the damage cost to your clients that now think you're incapable of?
opportunity.
So you're a security person, you should have a metric around that.
Yeah, I don't know.
So yeah, what is it?
Not a
You
lot.
should-
Just flip it back. Don't even know if you can go back.
That and the cost of reverting from your backups and trying to bring the site back up is one thing, but losing credit card data, sensitive information is a whole different game.
What if you outsource that to like Stripe?
Yeah, we don't touch that stuff.
Yeah, bam, done. All right, did you want to respond, Breaker? No fight, no fight
This
needed.
is like a given.
He already wants it.
One other question. All right, so who won, Breaker or Builder?
I want to ask this.
Sean, drink.
I will.
The rum.
You know, I want to ask this question in a developer conference because I think we'll get a lot of different answers.
Well, there's a lot of developers in the room.
Yeah, but these guys are biased. They're an AppSec.
Actually, yeah, there is some bias here. Does the audience agree with that? All right.
Security people don't have good secret about the number of.
That's right. There's no
Yeah,
there's no metric around it.
We're cool out of our ass. We try to scare people.
There is a paper that actually says that the cost of SQL injection bug being exploited is $7.5 million.
That was last year. This year is 5. Where do we collect?
Well, you stole the credit card numbers, you find drop sites, and then you order a bunch of. Okay. Anyways, all right, let's continue.
You can do it.
Agile versus security.
Agile is a disaster. Agile is an excuse to just.
I think the builder was supposed to start with this, but you know what? I'm gonna let you have one because he started like the past 3. So go ahead.
Thanks for interrupting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is obvious, right? If you're doing Agile, you're pushing 5 times a day, you're doing. I don't care how often you do it.
Fast.
When am I supposed to stop and look at the code and figure out what's going on? This process is just absolutely not conducive to any kind of control process. And you use it as an excuse. It's like a crutch to deliver shoddy code as fast as you can.
Yeah, but we can fix it as fast. Continual improvement, right? We just push it out
You
again.
didn't find it. You just push it out.
Actually, you're just committing new security vulnerabilities on top of that. So you never actually fix anything, you just keep rolling out over and over.
Well, so I don't think that's true. I think the problem is that traditional security organizations and consulting groups come in at certain checkpoints at the very end and say, okay, let's get a little pen test done, or the business guy goes, oh yeah, shit, security, we're going to launch next week, do a pen test. All right. The problem is that these security groups don't know how to interface at the pace of agile development. Right? We do it with QA. So why QA keeps up for the most part?
Why can't security keep up?
Why can't security keep up? Agile is just a methodology for development, right? So why can't they be involved at the right point and do it? I just think they're stuck in their old ways, right?
Do you think that QA, that security should be pushed underneath the QA group?
Well, QA is much. I'll let you answer that, actually. Security guy.
Well, I mean, I think there are certain things about QA that are very then apply to security also, right? Like, so if you're going to use automated tools and you're going to check the release of the build, QA is already in a place to do that, right? No matter what your development process is.
Yeah, they're way better positioned than security is, that's for sure. I agree.
And you hate us both.
I do hate
So
this.
you might as
Slow
well.
me down.
We might as well combine forces.
I like this idea. So what we should do is we should have security report to QA. You know what's cool about that is QA is generally lower paid. So we could probably, if we lower the salary, we can make it keep up with all the deployments.
So what I think is funny about that representation is like every security person who's like, yeah, it should be in a QA. They're like, yeah, that's right, QA process. We can stop builds. And as soon as he's like, well, then you're going to be underneath QA. And he's like, whoa, wait a minute. All right. All right, builder breaker. Who won? Oh, that's a lot of white.
Yeah,
a lot of white.
There you go, drink this guy.
Hopefully they can still debate. All right, so this next one is kind of a series. It's a general concept of typically what's happening internally with a developer and what's internally happening with a security person. So the developer says, you know what, breakers, they don't understand development. That's the problem. They don't. They just don't understand development at all. This, of course, enrages the security person, and the security person responds with, well, builders need to understand vulnerabilities. That's what needs to happen. So I'm going to let you guys take this. Feel free, whoever wants to yell louder.
If you don't understand the vulnerability, how are you going to not introduce it every single day?
Well, here's the problem, right? Is I think you can train developers in security. We're never going to be experts, but you can definitely train. Writing a report, doing an audit, throwing it there, saying, oh, these are my problems, you're not helping us, right? Why don't you write patches and submit those patches to us? We'll learn as we go, but I think there's a breakdown in the communication and the process on how you interact. And because of that, you think we don't get it, right? But the reality is also, I'm responsible to understand all this emerging technology and understand how that applies to the business, right? Remember, we're still doing this for money, so we're business, right? We're not a cost center like security. So I have to.
There's a reason cost centers exist.
So I have to know all this stuff, and if I know all the security stuff too, I don't really need you, do I? I think
you need me.
Do more training.
You definitely need me.
Do you think you can train developers security? Yes or no? Yes? Or
No.
Why?
Do you want the answer?
Yeah, yes, the answer. Absolutely want the answer.
Yeah, hand the microphone. Go. Answer. You just being a smart ass. Interesting. That's an interesting posture to have as a security person.
Yeah,
I mean, I was just fucking traveling, doing secure development training to a bunch of guys, and a lot of them got very interested and excited by it, and were very, they thought it was really cool, and actually wanted to go out and get some books and learn more about it, just because it excited them. And then there was a lot of other people in the room that were like, my manager made me be here.
Well, and even the ones who are interested next year,
Yeah, they
don't remember that shit.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
So the thing is, if the developers knew security, they wouldn't need a security team to tell them where to mess up.
I'm not a security guy. I'm a developer, right? That's why I have security here. That's some training, but
One at a time, guys. Who's top? Go.
Well, it's the same argument the security guys have when you say, for example, I'm a developer, right? Like, go learn security. Well, why don't you learn about development environment, right? We can't move at your pace, and you can't move at our pace. Try doing both fucking things at once. You can't. It doesn't work that way.
How many security people, though, do write code versus how many?
none. They contribute no patches to fix the problems. They're just like, oh, you're bad, you suck.
Where do all of the tools come from? Everything else, who wrote those?
Hey, do you think security guys write good code? Because I'm a developer, and that's what
If
you
you
think.
wrote good code, I wouldn't have a job.
Actually, I said that earlier. You need me, man. You need me.
Yeah, I think that what John's point is that as security people, like when we even write actual code, it's vulnerable. Like there's bugs that weren't even back. Exactly. And so you're asking like somebody's like, hey,
You got dates to push it out because people need things. Because you conferences talking about your latest hack tool, and you got to get it out.
I think the analogy is that like everybody in this room asks their like 10-year-old daughter, hey, how do I drive a car? Right?
Are any of the breakers here not former builders?
Oh, yeah.
Is there any breaker who was never a builder who's in this room?
There's gotta be.
Oh yeah, there's lots.
Because all the breakers I know don't
Phil, you didn't raise your hand. Phil, what did you have to say? You were trying to yell out earlier. Nothing, not important anymore? All right.
This is a false dichotomy. You want, in any sports team, you have different positions in the team. You want expertise, complement each other. Team, or you undermine each other. I mean, I hate to say kumbaya and hug it out, but
But you know, I have like 8 projects going on at the same time. How am I supposed to like team it with him?
I agree with that, but he's right. Whenever I get my app scanned, they just give me a paper
Yeah,
that the
PDF,
scanner
1,000 page report.
That's vulnerabilities, and doesn't lift a finger to help figure out how to fix that.
So what's interesting about what he just brought, hold on, what's interesting about what he just brought up is that what that shows you is that security teams operate differently. So as a general group, as security people, we've said, hey, you know what, OWASP, let's try to teach, develop security developers, right? To some extent, security people should be telling other security people how to actually run security groups, right? Because of what you just said, clearly, his team at his thing is not helping him, right?
So I did a survey of all my developer friends, about 70 developers. Some I knew, some I didn't, but I sent out the survey and said, how many of you guys know what OWASP is? 25%, maybe a little less, had even heard of OWASP. And then of that, a much smaller percentage said they knew and understood what the OWASP top 10 is. So does OWASP work? Is it working for AppSec guys or is it working for developers? Like, what's the point?
Why isn't the security guy in stand-ups?
Why
If
is
they're
the
agile,
security
sure.
guy in the stand-ups? That's because they don't get agile. I can cover that.
They're probably too busy trying to write papers for the next security.
Yeah, they're ready. Actually, they're ready to really code hacking tools.
All right, let's go to the next one. Oh, I'm sorry, builders, breakers.
Builder, come on, you got it now. You know it is. Yep, drink up on it.
Yeah,
I thought we decided that you needed to understand vulnerabilities.
Well, clearly the audience thought that you lost that debate. I'm sorry, you just lost Ohio.
This is a Democratic state.
You just lost Ohio, I'm sorry. All right, next one.
This is like voter fraud.
Well, recap, let's do a recap real quick. All right, so builder. WAF solves the problem, right?
Absolutely. So,
Yes. Can we change this to WAF plus framework solves the problem?
Oh, sure.
What does that mean?
Like, why do we have something like struts but that actually solves SSS, SQLi, 15 other problems?
okay, I like that. I can go with that. So WAF plus framework solves the problem. Absolutely, because I'm writing code, I'm writing unique code, right? I have third-party libraries that do functionality and I can build things faster. And the code that I'm writing, that's custom code, the value add for our customers is the stuff I do. And there's probably bugs there, right? And there's definitely bugs. And there's definitely security bugs as well. The WAF is going to block a lot of those security bugs. So now I don't have to address them right away. And maybe I can be more competitive by getting the next feature out and before these guys and take more of a market share. So it buys me time and it gets the business moving faster than some other people. And it lowers the risk in my mind. So the WAF does solve the problem. Yeah.
I changed it, by the way, because I know what you're doing now.
The WAF is
I changed it to WAF plus framework, and then I realized what he was actually saying was Rails fixes the issue.
I'm not saying.
a WAF is a band-aid. A WAF is a band-aid. It doesn't fix the fundamental problem. If I bypass the WAF,
So what? Yeah, it's a Band-Aid, sure, great, but it helps me and I can keep that Band-Aid.
it helps you do it. It's like a slice.
easily.
It's a slice of what you need to do. If I bypass the WAF, you're done. And those
What about a firewall? What about traditional firewall?
those-
If you bypass that, we're done too.
The third-party libraries you're talking about, that is a
Silence,
great idea. I love it.
I heard you heard this all of a sudden.
I love
Wait,
it.
what about a real firewall? Everyone embraces the network firewall. You're not going to say, well, yeah, patching, we've got to harden all these services. Yeah, you're going to do it, but you have a firewall that's going to protect you from external attacks. Internal's a little different, maybe. I don't know.
So was anybody, hold on. Was anybody web application before web application and network? Am I the only one? Anybody that was in web application security, before that, were in like network security, right? Okay, if I gave you guys a cable internal to a network, that was outside the firewall, how fast did you break in?
What about this guy right here, the breaker over here? The guy with the rum.
Yeah, immediately.
Yeah, instantly, right?
Via the browser.
See, if you're running a firewall, does that mean you don't harden any services?
I don't need to as much.
And I want to talk about the frameworks, because I think that's an interesting point, right? Frameworks are what, 80% of the code that's running? You don't know if they're secure, you don't know if they're updated. Even if there was a Struts Plus, a Rails Plus that did all the security, let's say you find a problem. Does he update the code base to know that he's using the latest so that it's now...
Wait, for a framework like third-party libraries and apps and stuff like
Yeah,
that?
you're using Rails, right? You're updating Rails when there's a security vulnerability? Mass assignment, did you do that?
That's part of the
Yeah.
code. Yeah, there was a Brian Bates thing about it in 2007. Yeah, I'm on it. So I know a little bit about security, thanks.
All right, so somebody wanted to say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, in a best case scenario though, a WAF only covers part of the problem. Like things like logic flaws, but WAFs never protect the guys.
When you see a WAF, you just know that they didn't do anything to protect security.
It's a big...
You know there's vulnerabilities there.
Would you agree though that you're raising the barrier to entry and some attackers will just give up before they actually try to breach? So what you're saying is that you're saying that attackers don't actually look for the
But
weakest.
no, it says solves the problem, not,
Faster.
not raises the
We
barrier.
put a WAF up in the web scanner, found nothing.
Does the developer need to
What did you say?
Does the developer need to do protocol validation?
I don't know. I thought the framework did that.
I don't think they know what that is.
Doesn't the WAF do that?
That's the point. You're right, there are some logical flaws that the developer needs to know about, but if we can't solve this problem by making the developer know everything, we've got to put
Well, no, but I'm saying that a WAF-
something in the
Like, when you see a WAF, you say, okay, I might not find cross-site scripting, I might not find SQL injection, but there's so many flaws that a WAF is never even gonna protect against. So it doesn't even solve the problem because it's only covering half the problem in the first place.
We put a WAF up.
But it should cover that problem, so developers can
I ran a scan and I basically had a bunch of bugs and then I put up a WAF. I didn't have bugs anymore. So it clearly solves the problem. All right. Let's build a breaker. Who won?
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Nobody thinks the WAF is the solution.
Well, that is part of the solution.
Part of the solution.
I agree with that.
All right.
What part?
All right, so this is the last one. I'm gonna let you guys fight, and then we have some general things that we want to cover. But I'm gonna let you guys fight about this, which is false positives are a necessary evil. Breaker, why don't you take this one first? And this is somebody brought. Actually, you brought this up earlier, right? When they start arguing, you'll understand why I'm connecting it. Go.
So if I do a pen test, or I'm running a bunch of tools, I'm doing all kinds of different things to find vulnerabilities in your application. There are things that I can't know for sure if they're real or not. If I don't report those to you, I'm leaving you exposed to other people who might not be as so kind as I am.
Kind as you are.
So I have to report everything that could potentially...
The problem is, right? Here's the problem. I engage with security. They run all these network and application website scanners and other whatever they've got, right? They do everything. And then I get a 1,000-page PDF.
It's a lot of information, that's right.
It's a lot of information. I can't import it into, Jira, which I use for tracking, bugs and stuff like that. It doesn't even go into Remedy for like the IT guys for their stuff. It's so much information, and it's all high risk, and the sky's falling into the world and stuff. What do I do with it? There's so much noise there that I can't even deal with it at all, which is why I have.
This is why there's bugs in the software in the first place, because if you can't even manage this and passwords and priorities, you figure out the problem.
Or maybe it's a problem tool.
Why is it so hard for hackers to learn how to file a bug ticket?
Yes, thank you. Can you just file a bug? Hey, back to your comment earlier. File a bug, show up at stand up, we'll talk about it. The product manager will tell me what's important, and we'll figure out when to do it, and then we
I'm in favor of that. I did sysadmin for 10 years, and was always irritated that even just simply as a sysadmin, we were brought into the process at the very end. It's, oh, we need 4 terabytes. And it's like, when were we involved in the scoping of this project a year ago? So from security, same thing. Bring us in earlier. Yes, I want to be in the stand-up. I'm not going to.
So wait.
Say the
That's
sky's falling, but
they don't need to bring you in. You should go to them.
Yeah, come to me. But I can't go to 8 stand-ups. I can't go to 12
where
stand-ups.
I can't go in because it's the development meeting and security is a part of the process later. So the process is broken. And I've been in some companies that let us go, and I've been in others where I've asked, can I please go to the code reviews and that kind of thing, peer review, and they're like, well, no, that you're not part of that team.
So that's one of the security things that I was bringing up earlier, which is that sometimes security people need to be trained also, right? It's like clearly.
This guy beer. I think that's a good question. I got a couple of beers to get out for good questions. We forgot about that.
It's,
All right, next.
It's a broken process. But
You guys are like, questions. Oh, beer, I got a question.
All right, hold on. We got 5 minutes. We got 5 minutes, so make it fast. Go, Magic.
So I think breakers are stop being scatter jockeys and then actionable vulnerabilities that the developer can fix. Right?
Yeah.
Don't hand over the 1,000-page report.
Yeah.
Breaker put the work in.
1,000-page PDF.
And
sort it,
it's
get filtered.
Oh yeah, it's a whole industry. It's called consulting.
I have like 20.
I'm sorry, what is that? All right, so let's wrap it up and let's move on a little bit. So just to kind of, sorry. Oh yeah, sorry, voting. Who won, builder or breaker?
How do I deal with false positives? Come on, builder, obviously.
All right, so if you voted, keep them up, builder clearly won.
Yeah, obviously.
Why are you not breaker?
So you don't want us to report it and then.
So real quick, raise your thing again.
You're scared.
If you voted for the same person on every single one of these, keep yours up.
Oh, he's trying to drum. He can get out of here.
So, Monodox is going quick.
Let's finish this because we have like 3 minutes.
So real quick, we don't actually really feel the way that we actually represented. So I thought that they both did a good job. They actually have opposite roles. So John is actually a breaker and Matt's a builder, right? And so we swapped them because we were like, you know what? You guys can say exactly what you always hear from other people, right? And so I think that they did a pretty good job. In general, who thought, so raise up, if you thought, raise up real fast, we tricked you, that was social engineering. So raise your thing if overall you think the breaker won, and raise it if you think the builder won.
Builder.
Oh man!
Builder, yeah,
Breaker,
obviously.
It's actually kind of split, but it's actually half and half.
It is.
That's pretty good. That's good. All right, cool. So the thing is that we wanted to take a hard stance on both of these to basically elicit participation, because as soon as you start doing that, you go like, no, that's BS, I'm coming up on stage. We also wanted to get everyone to kind of come to some type of conclusion that some of the current models that we represent as security people are broken, and we wanted to generate conversation on how we can all make it better, right? And so that thing that we were talking about security is sometimes broken inside companies, and we need to actually, rather than yell at the developer, fix the security process that we're representing. So that's what it is. So some general takeaways. So first is developers we are not doing a good job as security people to get developers involved, right? We're basically saying, hey, fix this, blah, blah, blah. If your development team knows you on a first-name basis, not because you went over there and introduced yourself, but because you went over there because you keep sending them reports, you're not doing a good job. Like, you need to go have a personal relationship with your developers. You also need to be respectful. Right? I think as security people, we forget how fast we are about being smartasses, and we just think that we are God's gift. And developers, to some extent, they have just as good skill sets, just in a different group. And at the end of the day, if the developer and the security guy are in a company together and they need to do layoffs, guess who's getting laid off first? Right? All right, 2 minutes. The last thing is. Yeah, I know about that. So,
security guy gets laid off for the developer.
There's like 10 times as many developers as there are security developers.
Rightfully so. Developers will do that.
We're on the security side, right?
They don't get a developer, there's only like 2 or 3 security guys. That's right. You can't play this.
All right.
Here.
All right.
Security guys got laid off from Zynga.
So the last thing is,
That's a good point. There you go.
yeah, so by the way, there is no security people. That is true. So security people need to, the thing about getting dirty is that to some extent, security people need to embed themselves with these dev teams. They need to go in, they need to introduce themselves, get really accustomed to working with these people, help train them, help educate them, whatever, so that their opinion is actually represented. And if you kind of think about it the way that QA is done, QA is very, very comfy with the development team. So that's pretty much it. We want to thank the following people. We knew Josh would represent at some point, so we just threw his face up there too. So thanks, and if you guys have any questions, we can talk later.
Final thoughts or comments?
I think we're done.